Well, I work internationally. I find Goa much less difficult than working in the Middle East from the heat point of view, or in Singapore for that matter from heat point of view. It's hot and it's sweaty, but I've not found it unbearable. I do find it unbearable in the desert. I think there were some expectations that it would be quite chaotic workshop, but in reality it's been very well organised. I mean, incredibly well organised, even compared to some that I've done in Europe. So I found it a real pleasure working here.
Red sails in the sunset, way out on the sea. Oh, carry my loved one home safely to me. She sailed at the dawning, all day I've been blue.
Well, this changed. When I came last year to look at the site, it was barriered off and nobody was using it. And my belief at that time was that it was not really a loved and wanted and liked pier. However, when we came back this time, we found that there was a real audience. A lot of people used the pier just towards sunset. So we had to reconsider and do research to find out what people liked about the pier, how they used it. So we actually undertook a questionnaire to really understand the users of the pier so that our project could do what we needed, which was to extend the use of the pier into hours of darkness.
टाइट करता तो नॉट गटर अरे घुमता टाका दाणा हाव टाइट करता मारा भाई आणि पकड आणि पकड आणि
And the very first night we started to light it, the first people who went down the pier were a complete family with children and everything. That, to an extent, inspired some of the ideas of things like using the colourful plastic buckets to give something that was maybe a bit more attractive to children, people that they would want to investigate. And also we chose different sizes of buckets so that children could sit and adults could sit on the buckets as well.
Second month and I'll move the ladder up.
Go take a photograph of me much closer.
It's the best part of it.
Best part of the show? No?
No, my hands are slipping.
Sorry. Okay, there's one.
Don't want it?
No.
No. I think shuffle the ladder down. A small monkey?
Like a small girl. What can we see?
Definitely the biggest challenge was the scale. I think if you look at the other sites compared to ours, we're at least 2 or 3 times the size of everybody else. It's a really long space with some really big scale trees, different trees to the type that we're used to in Europe. So it's yeah, it was definitely the scale of the site. There were a lot of challenges to do with the climate and the heat. It's a very, very difficult sort of environment to work in just from that point of view. So like physical work, lifting big light fittings up ladders into trees was so different from working in a sort of European. Even in the summer, it's nowhere near this hot and humid. So just physically it was a challenge.
Stand there, just straight, tripod. Actually, when you're a really good photographer like me, you use techniques like this all the time. Just get random passers by. Oh dear. You can stop that, man.
I think the opportunity was to do something quite different to what normally happens in the street, and also the opportunity to do something that would appeal to the locals, because it's the one site that people are always going to go through, or anybody who's around this area is going to walk along the street. It's just a conventional bit of street, so it was a really good opportunity to do something that would appeal to people who live here. It has a story to tell in that our group, our students, decided that they wanted to create almost like an outdoor living room. So at the moment when we first got there, we asked people about the street, we asked the street traders at the end, what's it like at night, what happens, and well, nobody comes here at night, nobody wants to be here at night. So they wanted to create something where people would perhaps stop, so it would attract their attention, give them a reason for going there, and then they would stop and enjoy it. But because our group was mainly Indian and quite young Indian guys and girls, we asked them to try and put something Indian into it, something really sort of local of the area, and they did that. They made they handmade gobos, all like with sort of local cultural references. We've got an arm, a sun. We've got the word prakash, which is the Hindi word for light, spelt out in gobos on the floor. So, and then we've got some lanterns the reference is sort of Indian jali fretwork, where you've got this amazing sort of fret of wood with light coming through it, so a light screen. So the lanterns on our site reference that. Again, it's like I suppose it's a bit like the sort of tattoos that the henna tattoos that they've been doing, where they drew on the boxes and they cut them out and made, again, beautiful patterns. And I suppose the other thing that's interesting is that our lanterns are made from the waste of the workshop. So it's all the bottles, the empty water bottles that everybody has been drinking all week to keep from passing out in the heat have been included inside the lanterns, and they give it a bit of sparkle, and the boxes themselves are packing boxes of the light fittings. So it's great to have made it from the waste of the workshop.
The biggest challenge, let me think, was how to unite all the ideas that we had together to make a cohesive, one note idea, as we could say. But as we started working, things just started falling into place naturally, and the ideas just kept coming, and people kept getting more and more creative, and the whole thing came together.
I don't know. I don't know, sir. Nitesh,
I just
what
want all
note
of you
is this?
to listen to what musical
Let's listen to our concept is to make this garden is a musical garden. It's our concept, and we are making this musical note to make it fully musical type. And this bandstand, we are using it as a stage, and that tree, the big tree, that is it's a backdrop of a garden, and all these moonlights what you see and this bushings, all these are audiences here, and this is our concept, main concept.
And so the whole thing, even though it's a very still place and there's a stillness to it with the white, and that it's a static, not moving light installation, it still kind of comes, evokes the feeling of a musical place. Oh, there it is! It's time for a group photo. Hey, we want to take a group photo. Can you help us? Time for a group photo.
You should.
I know he wants to be the star in white. Okay. Okay, everybody, let's go over here. Stop. Okay, then the bigger guys at the end. Okay.
Salil, come in.
Salil क्या है उसको पकड़ेगा हमारे पूरा
Everybody get 1, 2, 3. Okay. Can you take it from the camera? Can you take it? Well, I'm going to say, number one, the weather is very different from my normal working conditions. I've worked in winter, in snow, and I've worked in different parts of the world in the Caribbean, but I've never quite experienced this type of heat. So I think that's the working conditions, and just in terms of things being different, in terms of electricity being a different power, and plugs being different, and certain fixtures being different than what I'm used to. The idea of the design was the same, the art is the same, the spirit is the same. The tools are different, and just the conditions are different, but that's the challenge that we have.
Because this is a very spiritual site, it is devoted to Mahavi. So the lighting is just not talking about illumination. It's talking about making a site so that people could feel that it is the spiritual quality of Mahavi, so that people could really, through light, go to touching the God, that kind of stuff. So they spend time over here, they're building the relationship with Mahavi. So this is very different. Oh, very different. Yes, it's hot. We have the heat, we have the sun, but luckily we have a very fabulous site here. We have a lot of sunshade, and in the night times we could feel the breeze. so that it makes me even more like this side. So we have the colors to echo with each other. See, so this is the, hold on, can you see I'm talking? Come on, who is in charge over here? Did I tell you what to do? Alright, come on. So, how the programming can be done. That's very good for you. Normally, it takes a fortune to learn it. You have to pay for the cost for all this kind of stuff. Now, this is free. Okay?
Yeah, thanks. I'll just do that. You had a leash,
Yeah, and also the leaf, and also the leaf. Oh yeah, actually we make a lot of research about Mahathir life, how he could become such a figure to influence so many peoples in India. So we think that when people walk into the garden from every angle, that we could feel the presence of Mahathir. So, but he is here with us, so that he is on earth. And then we also want to create a peaceful and a temple for Mahathir, so that people running through the waters into here and going to give him the offerings. It's all about nature and Mahathir and the Indian going people here. Very good. Can we give him a big hand?
I think the biggest opportunity about this site was that it's a playground and it invites light that is playful, and since my group was so young, it was something I think that they could really relate to and really go with the playfulness and create something that adds another dimension to the playground, so that the kids who come here in the day, that they could come back at night and just find a whole new thing about their playground they didn't know before, and I think at the same time also learn something about light, and that light can be really fun. My group was really sweet. I had really lovely kids in my group. They were very, very young and they had never done anything with lighting. So for them it was, I think, a steep learning curve, and they just told me that they enjoyed it and they learned a lot, so that's great. That makes me really happy. Yeah, on the first day when we were talking about concept, the students and I were talking about how we go through this journey from where we find something on the first day that nobody wants to engage with, and that's really scary and it's really dark, and we want to take it to a place where people actually want to go and they want to make that their destination for the evening. So there's this journey that our students took in going from that place to the good place, you know, from the scary place to the good place. And it's also the journey that we want to take the public on, that they're used to this rather grim and scary place, and now, you know, they see this transformation, and it's actually becoming a nighttime destination for them as well.
Well, challenges were the scale, I would say. The location was a little bit challenging, well, because of the building site works that were going on there, and the occasional Bollywood movie production that decided to happen at the same time. But mainly the scale. It's pretty tough job for a bunch of students to rig that kind of site up. Well, yes, there is. I mean, we had quite eventful week. You know, it was one of those roller coaster workshop weeks where the typical day of frustration on Wednesday turned out to be the Thursday and Friday as well. The biggest story of the week for us was, of course, that we had a little glitch with the programming. After spending 7.5 hours programming until 5 o'clock in the morning, the programmer closed the software and didn't press save. So therefore we programmed it all again. Well, working in India was, to me, an extremely positive experience. I found people hardworking, very helpful. I like the attitude here. It's a lot of can-do. Of course, the site conditions were pretty tough. I don't think I have been sweating so much in my life. So yeah, no, I think it was the climate was the Indian edition, I think.
वॉशर बिल्कुल नहीं है ना, बड़ा वॉशर बिल्कुल नहीं है ना, बड़ा वॉशर नहीं है ना, ले आता हूँ बाहर के लिए।
Well, first of all, the concept, of course, came out of the brainstorming sessions with the students. So I would definitely say that this concept was the students' concept. There is a story. It's about play of volumes. It's about perception. It's about the contexts, the movement within the site. I was very proud of my students because they did actually come up with a very multifaceted concept, which is not easy, and I do feel that they pulled it off.